Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you for our time together. I want us to come back to Numbers chapter 14, beginning with verse 1. And I want us to talk about why do people start looking around for new leadership? Why do people reject the leadership that God placed in their life and start looking around for new leadership? As leaders, if we don't understand it, I'm sorry, then we're going to not respond properly. Verse 1. Then all the people began weeping aloud, and they cried all night. Their voices rose in a great chorus of complaint against Moses and Aaron. We wish we had died in Egypt, or even here in the wilderness, they wailed. Why is the Lord taking us to this country only for us to die in battle? Our wives and our little ones would be carried off as slaves. Let us get out of here and return to Egypt. Then they plotted among themselves, let's choose a leader and go back to Egypt. Now what? An absolutely phenomenal response to seeing the promised land. Now, you've got to just back up and think a minute. They saw the land flowing with milk and honey. They saw the promises of God. They saw the vision that God had for them. And yes, there were going to be some challenges. Yes, there were going to be some battles that had to be fought. But they looked at the promises of God and they feared for their lives. They feared for their lives. They feared for the future of their family and their children. And so they said, we want to go back to our old life. We want to go back to what we know. Many, many times in churches, I've watched congregations paralyzed in fear as they saw the reality of the vision that God had for them. And rather than, yes, with God's help we can do this, I've watched congregations be filled with fear. And be filled with fear for the future. And look at the whole thing and say, we just want to go back to what we know. Now, when those three things happen, fear for life, fear for future, and a desire to return to the comfortable old life, when those three things fill the heart in the face of vision, when those three things fill a congregation's heart, they will always start looking to choose a leader who will agree to take them back to their old life, because God's leader is going to take them to the vision.